Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This video is on a saber that I've been waiting to be finally done for 9 months. A saber that I ordered 9 months ago and I received and I had installed, and I had to have something else done to it, which I'll get into in this video. And it is finally done. That is one of my favorite sabers of all time. This is the Veracity Labs Mom of All Heroes, M-O-M of All Heroes. This is a Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi green bladed saber hilt. This is the most accurate version of this saber. The Return of the Jedi thin neck Luke lightsaber. This is based on the cave scene, which was a deleted scene that didn't make the movie, but is important, or it's a good scene nonetheless. This was based exactly on that saber, which is pretty much the same thing as the hero hilt, which is never actually used in the movie other than one very small scene, but you can't see the full hilt in that scene. So what you see in the movie is the V2, which was a Obi-Wan stunt from A New Hope that they kind of did a once over on and made it a little different looking. That was the V2, but this is the hero version, the cave scene version. One that most people recognize when it comes to Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi Hills. This is the most accurate version, the Veracity Labs Mom of All Heroes. This is Proffie 2.2 in Neopixel. This was installed by Solo Sabers LLC. He created a great chassis design for this. That is a CC Sabers Pixel PCB, and you'll see that there's barely any blade depth in this saber, which I'll get to in just a second. But let's go over this. You may have seen Jeremy's video on this several months ago, and you're wondering why I'm only making my own video on it now, which I'll get into again in just a second as it pertains to this blade depth. So this section here right in the middle unscrews. So Proffie 2.2 and Neopixel. So this unscrews here in the middle, and you have pogo pins right there. And on the inside of this section, if you can see that, there is a PCB, so this meets. This is where the battery goes. So a removable battery system, 18650 battery. I have a battery right here that I used. I had some people in my comment section asking me where to get Neopixel batteries from. This is a Keep Power 18650, 3000 milliamp, 15 amp continuous high drain. There you go. Now you can see it better. This is the type of battery that I use. You can get these from Illumin. You can get them from the 18650 battery store. Make sure that they're protected. And this one's a button top, which is what fits in most of the chassis that Solo Saber uses. But make sure it fits your saber, first of all, and make sure that it's a protected battery. You don't want to be using an unprotected battery, but that's beside the point. I just wanted to mention that real quick because a lot of people ask me where I get my batteries from, but that's what I use. So that fits here in this section, the spring side down there, that's the negative. And then you just put this back on. Be very careful not to damage the pogo pins on the top side of that section. And then we'll go into the rest of the saber down here at the bottom, because this contains something that a lot of you, if you're familiar with Jeremy Solo Sabers and have been for a while, you may recognize and you might think is a little funny. So there is the clamp section right there. So these have a pixel, a red and a green pixel underneath each side, and it is independent from the blade, so it kind of does its own thing, but it is set to do exactly what you see in the cave scene, the deleted cave scene from Return of the Jedi. 2 buttons right here. One of them is activation, one of them is auxiliary, and then you have the tri-ring. It is a wonky tri-ring. It's not exactly the same thing on either side. It's asymmetrical, and it is off center from right down the clamp card as you see in the movie. So this is one pommel I have out of 3. I have the box right here, and I'm going to show you the rest of the pommels because I have 3 different pommels. One here. So that was the FX pommel. It's vented for sound, obviously. This is the static pommel, no sound venting. And then this is the hidden vented pommel. You can see that ring around it. So it has hidden sound venting in it. So all 3 of those fit on there, as well as the emitter at the top. This is a different emitter that screws onto the top, so that it can be a static emitter. Obviously there will be no shine through right here, and if you wanted to use a blade, you can't use this emitter, you have to use the open one. But that is cool that I have the option to use whatever pommel and either emitter that I want, because obviously the static pommel and the static emitter are what is used for the static prop. If you're talking about a replica, that's exactly what you want to use. if you're taking pictures or something like that, that's what the prop looks like in person, is the static versions of the pieces of the emitter and the pommel. This pommel here, this is the FX version of the pommel, and I'm going to unscrew it so you can see something that Jeremy did with this saber. And some of you are going to laugh when you see it. That is a speaker pod. So I'm not going to go into why that's funny. You can go ask Jeremy if you want to know, but just know that something funny in the past happened with these speaker pods, and I have one, and I make fun of Jeremy for it all the time. So that little PCB looks kind of like a Neopixel PCB, but way smaller. And then on the inside, they have two little pogo pins that connect to this, which is what gives this speaker, which is attached here. This is a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost speaker on the other side of this PCB. That's what gives this sound. It connects to this. And you can see in there, that is the Proffie board. So that is all tucked away nice and neat in there. I can reach in there, or I can unscrew this entire section right here, and I have much easier access to the board, but it is fairly easy to get into there with just the pommel unattached from the bottom of the saber. This saber is very, very loud, by the way. The sound is crystal clear as well. As you'll see in clips in this video, I only used sound fonts that are thin neck sabers. So obviously I used Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi fonts. I used an Obi-Wan Kenobi font. I actually used two different ones, technically four different ones. So I used OB4 V2 by Kyberphonic, because in the V2 version, he added a Cantina, Death Star, and Rebels version of Obi-Wan Kenobi saber. And I also put on the bold one from K-Sith. It is a great Obi-Wan Kenobi prequels version of the sound font, as well as a Leia sound font and a more Luke Skywalker sound font. So I only used thin neck sabers just because it fits this saber, and they all sound great on this saber. So massive shout out to Jeremy for installing the saber. And if you're still wondering what took me so long to make this video, why am I only making this video, 3 months or however long after Jeremy posted his own video on this install, and that is, once again, because of this blade depth. So if you try to put a regular Neopixel saber right here, you are not going to get anything done, because it's extremely hard to see, and you probably won't be able to see it on camera. Here, you can kind of see it, that little silver piece that's directly at the top. That is the retention screw. So the way that this emitter works is this top ring comes off. I'm going to try to show it real quick. There are threads here. This top ring comes off, retention screws right there. You have, I don't know the metric system too well, but not many millimeters, if many at all, of blade depth in there. So what you have to do is get a recessed blade. Not many people make recessed blades. They're very specialized, and you have to get it exactly right, meaning they also need your saber to do it. So I had Jeremy take the saber back, and I had him make a recessed blade for me. This is using a KR Sabers V2 strip, and this is recessed. So what I mean by recessed, it means that instead of the end of the blade having the PCB, the Pixel PCB right here at the end, like pretty much every normal Neopixel blade, it is sunken in right there, because if you look at the emitter of the mom, there is a gap in between that copper or brass, whatever kind of material cup that is. There's a gap between that and the inner wall of the emitter. So that gap right there and this gap right here, this blade thickness, that fits in there. So what that also means is that you get the maximum amount of blade depth, but you also get this PCB lining up perfectly with where the pogo pins are, and you have bite from that retention screw into this section, this hollow section of the blade. So if you didn't have a recessed blade, you'd have like pretty much no bite of that retention screw, because it'd be going into a rigid section of the blade. This has a little bit more give, so it gets a little bit more bite, if that makes any sense. But it is something that you have to get so right. Otherwise, it won't work. And Jeremy did a great job on it, and it looks great, and this is a great blade. But I can only use this blade for this exact saber. Otherwise, it won't work, because this blade is perfectly measured to fit this emitter. It's something that you have to realize if you're interested in one of these sabers. Not just this saber, but there's a lot of sabers out there that you have to have a recessed blade if you want any sort of stability while swinging a blade, a Neopixel blade, because Neopixel blades are heavier than normal blades. So that's just something you have to keep in mind if you're interested in a thin neck saber, and especially this mom of all heroes, is that you may need a recessed blade. And it is a little cumbersome because I can only use this blade for this saber. And it is something that it's a little difficult to get in and to take out. You have to take the top of the emitter off, slide it onto the bottom of this blade, put this down, tighten the retention screw, and then it's a little cumbersome, but this blade and the saber do work really well together. So thank you very much to Jeremy for doing that. For the rest of this video, I'm just going to be showing off the sound fonts. So I hope you enjoyed that. I absolutely love this saber. Thank you again, Jeremy. Thank you again, Veracity Labs. Thank you again, Seven Chambers, who I bought this from. This is a great saber and one that I'm going to cherish for a very, very long time. And it is one that I've wanted for a very long time. This is a saber that means a whole lot to me. I absolutely love Return of the Jedi, and I absolutely love the green-bladed saber in Return of the Jedi. Luke Skywalker is obviously one of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars, so this saber means a whole lot to me, and I'm going to cherish it for a very, very long time. And it'll probably stay in that box right there for a very long time because I'm very nervous swinging this thing around. And I really just don't want to damage it at all if at all possible. Another thing I forgot to mention, I'll just mention right here at the very end of this video. So the way I turn the saber on, obviously I put the battery in because it's a removable battery system. But I slide down this card right here. And you'll see something that Veracity Labs added to the saber is the reveal board. And at the very top of this reveal board right here, that's a kill switch. So once the battery's in, you turn on the kill switch and you'll start seeing the lights blinking, which is a really nice touch. I think that is great in terms of accuracy because that's what you see in the cave scene, is you see that kind of reveal board thing. And, you know, they went above and beyond to show something that a lot of people may not even realized or even would have thought about building if they were making this saber. So huge shout out to Veracity Labs for that. Huge shout out to Jeremy. Thank you all so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of this video, and may the Force be with you.
I've accepted the truth that you were once Anakin Skywalker, my father.
Your overconfidence is your weakness.
I will not turn. I'm Luke Skywalker. That was why you couldn't destroy me. That's why you won't bring me to your Emperor now. I'm Luke Skywalker.
Are you a Jedi?
I am. Luke Skywalker.
Are you a Jedi?
I am. Go away!
Ben Kenobi? He doesn't like you.
Sorry.
I don't like you either. You just what? Let's just say we'd like to avoid any imperial entanglements. Yes, indeed. If it's a fast ship.
Let me see your identification.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
Move along.
Hold on. Hold on.
Yes, indeed. If it's a fast ship. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's nothing. I was guessing. Don't worry about it. Master Kenobi?
I am, and when you have your strength, I will help you on your way. Let's go now. He is. But you need you already have. Unfortunately, you seem to be letting it all go. Look what I've risen above.
Master Kenobi?
I am, and when you have your strength, I will help you on your way. Ride north. That is your way out. Your way home. From all you
deceive you. And in doing so, he has altered the course of many things. He knows your fears, your heart, and he manipulated the truth, which has led you where you should never have been.
General Kenobi. Hello there.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
You certainly have a way with people.
Saber. We have everything we need. I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.